Here is another polished brass floor lamp. This is very similar to the one that's in the garage, and curiously enough it has the same story. I saw it at the OK Will. It was there for several times. I wasn't getting it because I really don't need it. I could use it in the computer room, but it's not really necessary. I liked the shade, but I wasn't getting it. I didn't get it like 2 or 3 times. And then I finally was there. I says, I'll just get the shade. So I went to take the shade off, and I discovered it's actually a 4-socket lamp, whereas the one in the garage is a 3. So I'm going to take the one in the garage, put that in the computer room, and then this one I'll put in the garage because it'll have extra light. So this shade's not in the best of condition. It's kind of flattened out here for some reason, but it'll look fine for the garage. This side's pretty good. So this is what it looked like on the inside. I was not in a rush this time, so I went through all the lamps and picked out the light bulbs that I wanted. So we got one General, no, this not a, is it? Yeah, General Electric extra soft white. It's kind of funny to see one of these out in the wild shortly after doing that video. This one's a 40 watts. So we got that incandescent light bulb. And then we got CFL. This one is a Fiat Electric branded Conserve Energy CFL. I wonder if these are sold at the Home Depot. This is a 13 watts, so it's a 60 watt equivalent. I don't know how old this is, but I kind of have some nostalgia to these Conserve Energy branded ones because when we moved into the old location, it was full of these Conserve Energy branded CFLs of all different sizes. And we have a 3-way bulb. Is this a 3-way socket? Yes, it is. We have a General Electric 50, 100, 150 3-way bulb, incandescent. I don't know if any of these bulbs work. I haven't tested them yet. And then I grabbed this Echo Smart stupid DEL bulb. It's a 9 watts, so it's a 60 watt equivalent. 13 watts versus 9 watts, not a big difference. 4 watt difference. Not worth switching over to these pieces of junk from your fluorescent. I got this in hopes that it'll work good for the drop light. It weighs practically nothing. It's a complete piece of junk, but for whatever reason, I have found that some of these really junky bulbs, although they don't last very long, tend to play well with the camera. So we'll try that out as well. So we've got a couple things wrong with this here. A lot of the things are loose on it, so we'll have to go through and tighten everything up. Well, let's test it first and see what works. Hopefully the whole thing works. I really can't stand when people do this with cords. It's not good for the wire, it's not good for the appliance, it's just not good in general. Let's see if we have any branding on here. Nope, I don't see any branding. Wiring looks okay at the bottom there. I don't know why that's open. It's not in the best of condition. I wonder if this could be polished. Maybe. But, you know, for the garage, it's fine. Not that the garage is junky, but something like this, if the bottom of a lamp is a little bit tarnished in there, I don't really care. Wouldn't want this in the living room, but in the garage is fine. Got a very thin little cord. Not exactly what you want to see for something that takes 150 watts bulb. Prongs are a little bent, but they should work for the test. Take the battery out of this cordless phone so that doesn't run out of charge. I suppose there's really no reason to use the kilowatt meter, it's just out of habit. Okay, so this is a three-way socket. You can see it has two contacts on the bottom. That's how three-way sockets work. And these are all regular sockets on the outside. So I wonder what the logic is of this switch. The one in the garage is 1, 2, and L3. I wonder if this is outside lights, inside light, and both. It's going to be my guess. I'll test it with this piece of junk in case something's wrong with it. Yeah, there's no flicker, so this will work fine with the cam or oh, no, that's wrong. There is some kind of flicker, although I don't see it in person. Well, it's not too bad. This might be okay to use with the camera. That's interesting how these stupid cheap ones don't seem to have any flicker. I can't detect it, but it is horribly blinding and uncomfortable to look at though. I could never use this just for general illumination. Well, this might be independent of that switch. Okay. Jeez. Yeah, I bet it's the same three-way configuration. I wonder if it's the same basic lamp with this thing added on top. It could be. Yeah, I think this is a three option as well. Yep, it is. Alright, that's cool. Just for the sake of curiosity, let's see if this three-way bulb is working. Looks like it's all the same. So that's the 50 watt section, and that's 50 again, so, but it shouldn't be 50. Oh no, it is, because the high setting is both. So the way these work is there's two contacts on the bottom. One is for the lower wattage filament and one is for the higher wattage filament. So the lowest position is the low wattage filament, the middle position is the high wattage filament, and then the highest setting is both filaments together. So what we're missing here is the 100 watt filament is busted. So that's why it's 50, because it's low, medium, high, that low is on again, and then off. So this is only good as a 100 watts bulb, or no, as a 50 watts bulb, and it's only good in a three-way socket, because I believe by default this would just be a 100 watts if you put it into a regular. Well, we can pretty easily find out actually. There's no point to sit here and guess when we can collect the information. Yeah, it's a 100 by default. Alright, so that stinks, but that doesn't work. Let's see if this works. So this is 40 watts ultra soft. It works. Wow, that's so soft. And lastly, to test, we have this conserve energy CFL. It's very slow startup CFL. And this is how I remember all the ones in the house were. Very, very slow startup. And this is one of the reasons why CFLs were very disliked back in the day, because people are impatient and don't want to wait for the light bulbs to turn on. Alright, so we got a good soft light bulb, 40 watts, ultra soft light bulb, a good CFL, potentially a good DL for the drop light, and then a not super useful 3-way. Alright, so let's check out all the problems that we have with this lamp. So we have a multitude of problems here that I think should all be fairly easy to solve. This is loose and bent, and there's just actually it should be tightened from the top. Oh, it's very dirty in there. We're going to need to clean out this thing. That's definitely a hazard. Let's see if I have any compressed air on hand. Well, it might be in the garage. I don't have any compressed air on hand. That's fine, we'll go without it. Do I have any kind of brushes on hand instead? I might have some at the cleaning area. You know what I should probably do is just take it off and tip it upside down and dump it out. Get all them flies and junk out of there. Much better. Bend that straight. Okay, that's much better. This one is still tight, but it needs to be cleaned, so we'll just take it off anyways. It really makes you wonder, how on earth did the sockets get so much dust in there if there was bulbs in the sockets? It doesn't really make any sense. It's actually really kind of bizarre. Maybe the previous owner used it without light bulbs. These are kind of busted up, but you won't see it under the shade. This socket's pretty clean. This must have been the only socket that was used with light bulbs. Let's see what's up with this here. This whole thing is all loose and messed up. Should not be turning like that. Usually this just pops off. It's like press fit. Okay, let's check to make sure the wiring is good. Yep, the wiring is good. So now that that's off of there, can we just turn this to tighten it? Yeah. Okay, good. You know, maybe we should take a look inside here too, just to make sure there's nothing that will cause a problem. No flaky wiring. Why put electrical tape on the morettes? There's no reason for that. Everything's just going to be a sticky mess in here. Well, fortunately everything looks like it was done reasonably well. We're not going to mess with it. That's kind of interesting how that's like bent over like that to make the screw hole. I suppose what we could do, and maybe I will do this, we could replace this with a three-way socket that goes like that, and then have a 6x lamp for the garage. That would be kind of an interesting project, and very useful too in there. I guess that's just the way that's going to be. Alright, that's much better, much more stable now. Alright, good. As far as light bulbs are concerned, I've got a brand new box of 23 watt CFLs, 100 watt equivalent CFLs. You can still buy these today at the Home Depot. Compact fluorescent lighting. 10,000 hour rated. When I moved into this house 3 years ago, I bought a bunch of these and put them into lamps I use a lot. Never had one fail yet. So even though a lot of people say, oh, those are modern garbage, and while I would certainly prefer a vintage CFL, I think these are perfectly satisfactory, especially when you're sitting at the store and all there is stupid DEL. These are great. Now for just under 100 watts we get an incandescent equivalence, which is a stupid metric, of about 400 watts. I think that'll be our thumbnail. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a good thumbnail. Alright, let's plug this in and make sure everything is going to work. Now these are kind of slow starting as well, I guess. Never really noticed that. In fact, that one might be defective. None of the other ones are like that. I didn't think that that's how it was. These do get brighter over time. They take a minute or two to get going, but the whole tube illuminates from the start on all of them except for that one. That might be defective. Do I have another one of those around here? No, I don't. Almost certain at that bulb there might be a problem with that. Let's give it a few minutes and see if it warms up. I'm going to grab another one. Just because in the garage the ceiling is dark, so it takes a lot of light to illuminate the room. So if this bulb is going to be flaky for whatever reason, I'd rather just replace it. Got another box of CFLs, and that CFL is up to full brightness now. Well, it's probably fine. But now another item of curiosity, gosh, that is blinding, has come to my mind. What would be cool is if I get another. I know I have some more in stock somewhere, I just gotta find them. I have some 3-way 2D GE CFLs, and I think I could put a 2D CFL up here that's a 3-way. That'd be kind of neat. Can we fit 2 in here using this? I need to take off the non-musical harp first. I can make this better. Actually, let's see. What are our constraints of the shade? The shade's gonna go. Yeah, it'll cover that. I'm gonna get a riser for this. Now I'm determined to see how many bulbs I can fit into this lamp. We'll have to see if this is within the constraints of the shade. I'm not sure. I hope it is. It's a pretty big shade. I think it will be. that is within the constraints of the shade. Alright, I'm going to open up another box of CFLs. I'm going to have to go buy some more CFLs. Okay, good. Now we can also, because that's not good enough, we can also do this. Try a different one. I gotta go open up another box of CFLs. Got another brand new box of CFLs. That heat pump keeps defrosting so much today. There's a lot of humidity in the air. That thumbnail from before was pathetic. This will be our new thumbnail. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Alright, let's see how this works now. I guess a bunch of them are starting up slow. Maybe that's just how they are. It's kind of cold over there in the storage area. Probably only about 55, 60 degrees. Alright, so that is consuming only 192 watts. And that's got a luminous equivalence of 2, 4, 6, 8, 1,000 watts. And I think that the shade should fit on there just fine. Yeah, shade fits on there okay. Good grief, that is bright. That is outrageous. It's taking some more power down. 2.97 amps or 233 watts. And no, not one of those circuits is overloaded. Not circuits, sockets. Because that's only, let's see, 23 times 2 is 46 watts in the 3 outer sockets. And what is that, 46 times 2, 92 watts in the center, which it can take up to 150, so that's totally fine. Okay, let's go ahead and put this in the garage and see how much better it works than the one that's in there now. Alright, so here's the old 300 watts lamp. You know, pretty average. It's just not bright enough for in here. So we'll take this one out. Use that upstairs in the computer room where it will be adequate brightness. And then we'll put this one in here. Yep, that's pretty bright. It's blinding. All jokes aside, that actually is pretty bright. Turn off the regular fluorescent lights. And actually, it really doesn't seem all that bright at all. Because of the dark ceiling in here, the light doesn't reflect that well at all. And that's why we need something with this much wattage. It doesn't even illuminate the whole room. It's still pretty dark over there. I suspect if I took the shade off, it might be enough to illuminate the whole room. Yeah, that shade really blocks a lot of light. And now it's enough to illuminate pretty much the entire room. What a nice air conditioner's over there. It'll be spring before you know it. Wow, you feel the heat coming out of there. Imagine if that was incandescent bulbs, that'd be probably about 1,000 BTU less than a regular 1500 watt portable heater. Well, no, actually not quite, because I forget what the calculation is, but it's not, scratch that, that's just totally wrong. It's not a 1-to-1 in terms of heat output from like a resistive heat versus incandescent bulb. I don't know why I thought it was for a moment. It is what it is. Sometimes smart people say stupid things. Okay, so there's our 1,000 watt lamp. Yeah, it's definitely brighter than the other one was, but it's still, it doesn't illuminate the space that well because of the dark ceiling. So I have this other lamp here. This is just a little 100 watts. And it doesn't even work. It only works if you plug it in. It's really a lame product. But I have that one over there. And so between the two, if I was sitting in here in the evening or whatever, I guess at night, evening, whatever, working on the computer or doing something kind of casual and not filming, this is much more pleasant lighting than having the ceiling lights on, the metal halide or the fluorescent. Now we actually could get a somewhat of an idea how it compares. So that's 4 bulbs, whereas the other one had 3. Not a big difference, really. guess there is on the floor, you can tell it's a lot brighter. But that shade just blocks so much of the light. I wonder if it was always like that, or if it's gotten worse as it's yellowed over the years. It's certainly going to yellow quite a bit now. So all that fluorescent lighting in there. It's pretty cozy atmosphere, decent lighting. Especially for a garage. But I like to have different stages of lighting in all the parts of the house. I like to have lighting that's blaring bright if you're going to work on something, and I like lighting that's dimmer and more relaxing. Not that 1,000 watts is dim, but it's a lot dimmer than having the metal halides on, which is 175 watts times 3. It's an astronomical amount of lighting for this space.